Anjali ma'am, over to you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. A very good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of Madicap's Innovation and Incubation Center and E-Cell of Madicap's University, I, Dr. Anjali Soni, welcome all of you in today's webinar on NEP 2020 Implementation on Higher Education. First of all, I am pleased to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. D.K. Patnaik, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. D.K. Pandam, Registrar Dr. Ankur Saxena, all the deans, all the head of the department, head of MIIC, Dr. Sarita Kansal, head of E-Cell, Professor Ramjan Singh, today's speaker, Dr. Ravindra Pathak, all the faculty members and all the participants. Medicaps is one of the brand names in the arena of technical education and is contributing in making Indore an educational hub. Since July 2000, Medicaps aims at creating an ideal ambience for budding technocrats and helping them to grow like true professionals. In year 2015, we got the approval from UGC to be a self-financed university and admission for SEM started in 2016. Since then, we have included many courses other than engineering like management, agriculture, pharmacy, commerce, science, arts, etc. Since we have created our own brand in the Center India. Till date, more than 12,000 students have been passed out from Medicaps and are working globally, and 7,000 students currently studying in various programs. Now, I invite Dr. Sarita Kansal, Professor in charge, Medicaps Innovation and Incubation Center, to have an insight about MIIC. Over to Dr. Sarita. My mic.
Sorry. Medicap's Innovation and Incubation Center was established in the year 2018 with the aim of provoking innovation and backing startups. We believe in setting up the stage for energetic, enthusiastic, and aspiring entrepreneurs. We encourage talents, innovators, and opportunities provided to the potential change makers of the industry, thereby contributing towards the positive change in the society. MIIC supports technical ventures and lab stage innovation. This paves the path for potential business idea to reach to the market. Today, we gather here to
Sarita ma'am, please check your microphone. It is again mute.
Yes. Sorry, sir. Today we gathered here to celebrate the National Education Day. National Education Day is celebrated every year on November 11th to commemorate the birth anniversary of first education minister of independent India, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. He was a revered scholar, poet, journalist, and above all, a freedom fighter. Maulana Azad was instrumental in laying the foundation of some of the best educational institutes in India. Azad played a great role in the establishment of the University Grant Commission, जिसको हम UGC से जानते हैं. He also responsible for building the first Indian Institute of Technology, IIT. Once again, सभी को राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा दिवस की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. With these words, I am handing over the mic to Anjali ma'am. Anjali ma'am.
Thank you so much, madam. Okay. To grace the session, we have with us Honorable Vice Chancellor of Medicaps University, Dr. Dilip K. Patnaik, an educationist, trainer, motivator, social and education reformer. Over to you, sir, for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, on behalf of the Medicaps University, I just welcome you on this National Education Day. ये सबको नेशनल एजुकेशन डे की बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ. And let's discuss on that what the National Education Day. And as Dr. Sarita told, we are observing the birth anniversary of the first education minister. Most of today morning also I was discussing with Dr. Sarita Kansal that very often we confuse between this literacy and education. When the people are more literate, we say that he is more educated. What is not exactly this? It is synonymous. This literate is not synonymous with education. Education is a different thing. What we learn for this. Many people might not be knowing what is the contribution of the first education minister, Dr. Azad here. You must be surprising that neither of his parents were Indians. And he was, his parents, his mother and father, they were not Indians, number one. And number two, Maulana Azad has never been to any sort of school or colleges and universities. He had never a formal degree. कोई यूनिवर्सिटी वो नहीं गए हैं, कोई स्कूल में भी नहीं पढ़े हैं, कोई कॉलेज भी नहीं गए, उनका कोई फॉर्मल डिग्री भी नहीं. फिर भी ये एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर बने. क्यों बने? Because he was educated and he has been having all this criteria. And this criteria नहीं कहेंगे, उनके पास वही सब गुण था जिसको वो जैसे अपने मैडम ने कहा कि he was a poet and he was a philosopher, he was a visionary and he was just he was thinking something about how to educate the people, not to just make a literate. All this education institution जो है हमने अभी बताया, school, colleges and universities है, these universities or institutions, they are giving a certificate, एक डिग्री हमको देते हैं और वहाँ पे एक थर्ड पार्टी रिकॉग्निशन आता है. They are giving us a one type of level. He is being educated up to this. He is being educated up to 12th standard. He is being educated up to this, which is not exactly true. They are saying that we have given him some sort of the information or the wisdom what he can accumulate and can be just say that 12th standard का उनका literacy है. But education is not from the what you learn from a classroom. Very often I say, and here also I want to repeat, and you all will also agree with me, whatever we have learned so far, इसका 10 या 15% भी हमने classroom में नहीं सीखे होंगे. We have been educated from our friends, we have been educated from our neighbors, we have been educated from our society, we have been educated from this many people, even we have been educated from this movie what you watch. And you have also been influenced by some of the people, what you hear somewhere. So education is very far away from this literacy. Literacy को education के साथ हमें नहीं जोड़ना चाहिए. So what should we do? That's why we should observe this National Education Day. ये National Education Day एक ऐसे वक्त पर हम आज observe कर रहे हैं जहाँ पे the new education policy is knocking at our door and it is already been started. It is rolled over since last 1 year and many of the states has implemented that. Let me tell you something about this new education policy. आज तक 2 education policy आ चुका था और आज ये तीसरा अभी new education policy है. And the previous education policies were only focusing on this equity and access. That many, all the people should have the access to this. Education का सबका access होना चाहिए. Even this people who is sitting on the last bench, that means poverty line में नीचे भी है, उसको भी education मिलना चाहिए. और दूसरा था हमारा एक equity. Equity मतलब there should not be any sort of binding. Gender biasness नहीं होना चाहिए. All the genders should get that. All the caste, all the creeds, all the religions. ये सबका एक इक्विटी रहना चाहिए. Everyone should have this right over this education. लेकिन कभी भी एजुकेशन को राइट बनाया नहीं गया. अब जैसे ह्यूमन राइट हम कहते हैं या इसको एजुकेशन को राइट बहुत देर में बनाया गया. और इसके बाद जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी जो सबसे आज इंपॉर्टेंट है और फोकस करता है, इक्विटी को तो करता ही करता है और एक्सेस तो करता है, लेकिन सबसे फोकस करता है क्वालिटी ऑफ द एजुकेशन. Quality of education means we must know what we are being what for we are being educated. We are being educated for the society where we live, and what should be an empathy toward the society. What is our responsibility to society and the society and this environment where we have been brought up, where we have been grown. What is this culture and how it has been implemented? What are this basic knowledge? What has not been documented? So far, we have been little bit biased over a period that anything and everything that is written and documented in any sort of the paper, that is only correct. If something is written in the book, that is only correct. If you heard it from somewhere from your grandfather or grandmother or some the guru or some the mulana or something, you say no, nothing. because there is nothing scientific there. So this again, we must educate ourselves to know that what exactly a scientific is that. I do not want to just quote and make any disgraceful remark, but once upon a time, Madame Curie once told that anything that is measured is scientific. So is it really? Can you measure empathy? Can you measure a love towards your children? Can you measure a love towards your the society and this country? So that means it is unscientific. Is the love is unscientific? Thinking is unscientific? It is not that. So we should not go exactly by the quotes and the writings and the verses of what is written there. We must educate ourselves from learning from the environment, learning from the society, and learning from our culture. So in this day, the advice will to all my colleagues and all my friends that let us educate ourselves, and the literacy will be the outcome of that. And we should not do the vice versa. Let us not make ourselves more literate and less educated, but let us make ourselves more educated, then literacy will follow you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks to grace the session and for your kind words. We have with us today's speaker, Dr. Ravindra Pathak. Dr. Ravindra Pathak is currently working as an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Medicaps University, Indore. He has worked as an assistant professor in Bahirdar University, Africa, under a United Nations Development Project for more than 5 years. He is actively involved in organizing and managing various training programs, international conferences, and seminars in a coordinated manner. Dr. Pathak is in charge of International Relations Cell and Intellectual Property Rights Cell of Medicaps University. He owns about 10 global utility and design patents and published 45 plus articles in the peer-reviewed international journals and conferences, and has delivered 35 plus lectures in the international and national conferences, webinars. He is a fellow of the Institution of Engineers, India, International Engineering and Technology Institute, Hong Kong, Indian Nuclear Society, and member of Assessment Team of Quality Certification, London, World Book of Record, London, and South Asian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now I'm very much pleased to invite Dr. Pathak to have an informative session on NEP 2020. Over to you, sir.
Anjali ma'am, sorry to interrupt. All the participants are requested to switch on their video so that we can have a photograph. And then, sir, please you continue with that.
Okay.
All the participants are requested to switch on their videos.
Participants may unmask themselves for the video photograph. I think Corona doesn't transmit in video.
I hope participants can able to switch on their videos. I don't think there is any issue. Ram sir, have you taken the pictures? Thank you so very much. Thank you. I invite again Dr. Ravindra Pathak sir. Sorry for the interruption in between. Sir, please continue.
Thank you very much, and very good morning, Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Pro Vice Chancellor sir, Registrar sir, and faculty members, students, and participants. Today, Honorable Vice Chancellor sir already given the very good insights about the national education policy, and I think that is the turning factor or turning point of our education system. So today I am just presenting about the national education policy insights and what are the implications on the higher education. So thank you very much for this opportunity. So as we know that is the National Education Day, and just we are remembering the Abdul Kalam Azad sir. And today I am just presenting on that National Education Policy implications on higher education. So as we know that now just we are changing our education system from the conventional system. Conventional means that is the remembering system only. Now just we are going through the. My video is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Yes,
Visible,
yes.
sir. Continue.
So first of all, that is what are the targets of NEP? Because NEP is now that is the government's very important project. And first of all, universalization from ECCE to secondary education by 2030. National Early Childhood Care and Education to the secondary education by the 2030. Attaining foundational learning and numerical skills through national mission by 2025. Because as we know that our Indian system is basically the learning based system. Our students have more important that if he can learn, he or she can learn and write into the examinations, then it will be good. Otherwise, maybe the problem. They cannot be faced the competitive exams. So now this NEP 2020 is shifting from this conventional system to the skill-based systems. Then there is a 100% GER gross enrollment ratio in the preschool to the secondary level by 2030. Teachers to be prepared for assessment reforms by 2023, because we know that if we suddenly change or suddenly shift from the one point to the another point, then the important thing is not only the students, another thing is that the teachers. Because the teachers are the backbone of the system, so we need to prepare also. Inclusive and equitable education system by 2030. Board exams to test core concepts and application of knowledge. Because nowadays our main competitive exam systems is based on the learning, remembering systems. So now the examination system is going from the core concepts and the application of knowledge. Early childhood will come out of school adapt in the at least one skill, because without skill, maybe after 5 or 10 years, without skill, anybody cannot be survive into the job market. Common standards of learning in public and private schools. So these are all basically in the broad ways that is the targets of NEP 2020. What are the policies and changes which is changed into the NEP? First of all, the name of the Ministry of Human Resource Development has been changed to the Ministry of Education. Because we know that this human resource development is basically related with that in whole area in whole human resources. That was not actively or that is not pointly on the sharply on the education system. But now when we changing the name from the Ministry of Human Resource Development, HRD, to the Ministry of Education, then you can understand that here we are giving the equal importance of the human resource to the education, because without the education, we cannot be develop the human resource. Right to Education Act has been extended from class 8 to class 12. As our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir told about this Right to Education Act, just we adopted this very late, but now that is extended from the class 8 to class 12. Because we know that in the India also in rural areas, now also we are facing the lots of problem into the school enrollment. And by this act, maybe the most of the students, most of our enrollment rate will be increased. Another thing is that the proposal of the National Academic Credit Bank, NACB, this also has been recognized in the new education policy, because we know that now our education system is going on the credit-based system. And not only here, from last 5 years, we are working on that credit systems. And now this National Academic Credit Bank will be work for the whole country. Instead of exams being held every year, school students will sit only in the class 3, 5. So these are the basically policy changes in to the NEP. Students will begin classes on coding as well as vocational activities from class 6 onward. Because we know that in our engineering system, in the university level, we know that whenever the students will come from the school to the university, they don't know about any vocational activity. Even in our practical experience, that whenever the students will be coming to the first year and just go for the first time in the workshop, they know only about the hammer, which is used in the domestically. So we understand that what are the level of our Indian students in the skill development center. But now just our emphasis is going on the coding and the vocational activity. We know that in the most of the schools from class 6 starting in the as a coding also as a subject as a skill. So now these are the basically from 2020 the system is changing, and now that is adopted by many states. So the things are changing slowly, and this vocational activity and this coding system or any skill development is the basic thing which is required for the Indian students. And by this only this NEP can be implemented in the whole country. Now HECI, that is the Higher Education Council of India, instead of UGC, AICTE, and NCT. So now we know that this University Grant Commission, okay, this is just a monitoring system for the universities, AICTE for the technical education basically, and NCTE for the education organizations. So here, there is a proposal that this HECI, that is the Higher Education Council of India, will be seen NHERC, National Higher Education Regulating Council for Teacher Education and Higher Education. NAC is a very important and very powerful tool for the government to regulate the system, to just implemented the new things into the university, into the education. They are forcing by the NAC. So NAC, National Accreditation Council for Recognition the Higher Institutions. HEGC, that is the Higher Education Grant Council for financial grant to the universities and colleges. So as we know that before, in the financial terms, the most of the grants goes to the only government colleges and government aided colleges. But now the government is focusing on that each and every institution, each and every universities, maybe the private, maybe the government, everybody who is the researcher, who is involved in research, they can get the good financial grant from the government. GEC, that is the General Education Council for Graduate Attributes and General Education. So here we can see that in NHERC, in that NSE, NAC, HEGC and GEC, these are the powerful instrument to empowerment the institutional universities and the other educational organizations. So by HECI, the government wants to create all these things by that is only the one organization, only the one roof. Languages. We know that before this NEP, the language, due to this, we know that in every state we have the on state board, like MP state board, UP state board. So what are the basic reason for this state board? Because we know that from our independence, the main problem within India is about the language. Because we know that in South India, they don't accept basically the Hindi language, okay, it's a national language. So, and secondly thing is that the mother tongue is maybe the Telugu, mother tongue maybe the Tamil. So what will happen? The students cannot get the proper knowledge in the another language. Suppose if you are using the Hindi or English as a secondary medium, and for the educational system as a medium of instructions, may be possible that the student cannot be cover the things or cannot be perform as well. So now this new education policy will focus on the multiple language education systems, because we know that in Russia, the Russian language is working on that. China, the major language, major instruction language, major scientific language is the Chinese. Okay. So same thing like that in India also we want to the one language, but here in India there is a problem is that in every state lots of languages are there, and our internet system, our maybe the government system is not capable to things spread all over the India. So now the things is that in NEP, that is the major changes is that teachers have to teach only in English, but also in all the regional languages of India. Because we know that in the IITs, in the NITs, and in other prestigious colleges, the main reason of the rural students, they are not performing in these higher institutes because the problem of the language. Because what happened, at the regional level or at the school level, the main instruction language was the local language. And suddenly they come into the college and started into the English medium. So this is the problem actually. So here in NEP, it doesn't mean that, because in our state board system, we are also focusing on the language, because in MPs we are teaching into the Hindi medium also. Okay, in like Tamil, in like Telugu, in Kannada, they are also giving the language instructions into the local language. But what happened now? Government is also trying that in the scientific, even in technical knowledge also, they want to transfer the knowledge into the own language. Now also the UGC and AICTE start the program that is translating the books from the English to the regional languages. So that is a very big achievement for the NEP, and it will be also useful for the university level also. Like our university also, some students will coming from the rural areas and they don't know even the English. So sometimes what happened, if we are giving the instruction into the other language like Hindi, suppose our students will be coming from the other states. So if we are trying to just convert the knowledge from the English to the local language, then our students can be performed well. Then the new education policy has 22 languages, because we know that in India lots of languages are there, but there is 22 languages. Medium of instruction up till grade 5 to 8 will the home language, mother tongue, and local language. And the language of India, a fun project activity on to be taken by the every students. So 3 languages to be taught will be decided by the state. And all classical languages will be widely available in school as options. So we know that in CBSE, that is Sanskrit is also that is the language options for the students. So here also, because that is the government aim is that the every students, maybe the from south, maybe the from north, have to understand more than one language. The maybe the scientific knowledge, maybe the engineering knowledge can be enhanced by the English and maybe supported by the national language, but by the regional language, they can upgrade the knowledge. So that is the main motto of this NEP. Class structure. So we are all know that about the existing academic system, that is a existing academic structure. Here the 10 years like age 6 to 16 years, and there is 2 years age 16 to 18. So now here we can see that is a new academic structure, and that is the major change in our conventional system. Here you can see that there is the 3 years, that is the Anganwadi or preschool, and the 2 years, that is the class first and 2, that is the age 6 to 8, and 3 years, that is the class 3 to 5, age is 8 to 11, and 4 years from class 9 to 12, that is the age 42. So that is the major changes into the new academic structure. And this new pedagogical and curricular structure of education system, like the 5 plus 3 plus 3, 4, in Anganwadi, preschool, and 12 years in school. So what will be the effect of this NEP on the existing system? Because we know that whenever the Indian students started the school from first to 12th, there are no any skill upgradation into the system. There are no any checking point. Previously also all the checking point on the basis of the remembering, not on the concept based learning. Our basic thing, our basic education system is only that the student can be remembered and write. So what will happen after 12th, whenever we will start the skill based program, then students face the difficulty. So here, in the new academic structure, the government aims that how we can change the student system in the mental system according to the age. So these things is changed according to the pedagogy and the curriculum structure, and this structure is already followed by the Western countries from the long time. So here, that is the secondary stage, that is the 4 multidisciplinary study, greater critical thinking, flexibility, and student choice of subject. Because we know that from last 20-30 years, the major subjects for the students or options for the students only the mathematics, maybe commerce, maybe biology. So these are the 3 basic major subjects or major options for students. But by this NEP, the students can get more choices of subject, flexibility, and basic thing is that we have to develop into the student the critical thing. Middle stage 3, learning in the science mathematics, art, social science, and humanities. The equal weightage of all these things. We cannot be measured the capability of a student basis only on the one subject. If students is very good in the mathematics or very good in science, but not in humanities, so maybe the student can be grow, student can be face the competitive exams. But in other than in India, if the student is good in humanities, okay, good in arts, but not very well into the mathematics, science, maybe the students can be face the problem. Then preparatory stage, play, discovery, and activity-based interactive classroom learning. Now, before that, in the Anganwadi was not very equipped with the latest equipment, but this NEP government has released the fund to the Anganwadi to the primary education for the new learning aid. This new learning aid will be enhance the students' critical thinking capacity. Foundation stage, multi-level play, activity-based learning. So here you can see that in new academic structure, the main thing, the main focus of the government on the education system is that our critical thinking, our skill-based program, our activity-based learning should be increased. Higher education. The NEP 2020 proposes a 4-year undergraduate programs with multiple exit options to give the students flexibility. That was the most drawback of our higher education system. Suppose if any students get admission in the first year and maybe leave in the second year, then he cannot be get the degree. But in this NEP that is proposed for years UG courses, that is the multiple exit options. He can get into the degree or diploma at every stage. Like here, a multidisciplinary bachelor degree will be awarded after completing 4 years of study. So that is a bachelor degree. If the students will be complete this disciplinary, multidisciplinary bachelor degree, 4 years. If the students exiting after the 2 years, means suppose if any students not interested, maybe the financial problem, maybe any social problems, if students will leave after the 2 years, then the students can be get diploma. Those living after 12 months will be have studied a vocational or professional courses. So here we can see that just we are dividing the 4-year course as an individual block, because previously what happens, that is a 3-year degree course. So these 3 years, that is interconnected. If students will be not complete from the first year to the final year, the student will be not able to get any degree. But here in the NEP, the changes is that every year has separate block. See, suppose the students will be complete the 1 year, maybe certificates, 2 years, maybe diploma, 3 year or 4 year, maybe the degree. So that is a very good achievement. That is a good, very good impact on our education system. So every student can be get even some degree or diploma, which can be useful for the job applications. MPhil courses are to be discontinued because previously what happens, maybe that is the intermediate course from the maybe sometime master to the PhD courses. So these courses may be no need because that is unnecessary. The students 2 years maybe best because this in MPhil basic emphasis on subject-based learning, not for the research-based learning. But in the new education system, our system is the research-based. So after the UG program, PG program, students can get directly admission into the doctorate and they can more focus on the PhD courses. Schools. We know that the schools is the basics of education system. We are the university, but our students are coming from the school. If schools will be grow very well, the school will be give the good education, then the students which is coming into the university will be already equipped, and we need to very little bit time, little bit money to polish the students. So here the schools are very important. In the schools, the NEP is the Bal Bhavan strengthening sitting to partake in art related, career related and play related activities. As I discussed that previously in our conventional system, the schools is basically the learning system, remembering system. If you will learn, then you can pass the exam. If you cannot be remembered, then maybe you will fail in the exam. So this is the system, that is the Bal Bhavan strengthening. Major emphasis is that there is the art related, career related and the play related activities which can be increase the critical thinking capacity of the students. Samajik Chetna Kendras to promote social, intellectual, and voluntary activities. We know that in India, the lots of talent into the rural areas students. And that is the possibility that students may be not enter into the UG courses, students cannot be enter into the school only. So by these centers, we can promote the social, intellectual, and voluntary activities in between the students, not only our city area, urban area. We can focus on the urban areas, rural areas, where we can get the good talent of the students. Setting up state school standard authority. Okay, so these will be with the state school standard authority SSSA. Development of school quality assessment and accreditation framework SQAAF by SCRT and NCRT. You know that the NCRT is the benchmark, create the benchmark for the schools, okay, publishing the books for the schools. As we know that previously also, now the suppose state boards and the central boards, the system is same, the books are same. So same like that, this NCRT and SCRT will be assess the school quality. Periodic health checkup all the overall system through a sample-based National Achievement Survey (NAS). So here also the focus of the government is that all the students, all the children will come into the school with the good health. So periodically health checkup. Now also in the CBSE and other schools, the health checkup is mandatory for the students, but in the government schools they are not following very well. So this is the sample-based survey, and because we know that the importance of this survey-based this health checkup in the corona also, and like zero survey, we can get the results of the mob. So here like that, by this National Achievement Survey (NAS), we can get the any problem with particular areas of the students. So that is the great achievements of NEP. Teachers education. Teachers education in the higher education system, B.Ed degree in the school system, the B.Ed degree is very important, the Bachelor of Education. So that is an NTA testing for admission to B.Ed, because B.Ed is very important degree, and the qualified teacher only can be enhance the capacity of the students. If the teacher is not properly trained, then that is not possible to student can be enhanced the capacity. So here for in the NTA, there is an NTA testing for admission of the B.Ed, 4-year integrated B.Ed course, first year B.Ed after completing PG, 2 years UG, and 4 years BD after completing 12th class. So we know that previously in the conventional system or in existing systems, B.Ed previously for the 1 year, and now this B.Ed for the 2 year for every courses. Means suppose if any person will be wanted to after UG, then also 2 years, after PG also 2 years. But now this teacher education is very systematic and according to the requirement of the skill, because after the 12th class, maybe the more skills, more training is required. So this is the 4 year, and after the UG, maybe the 2 year, and after the PG, already the teachers get the good training into the courses, so only the 1 year. So the new and comprehensive national curriculum framework for teachers education, National Higher Education Regulatory Council (NHERC) to function as a single point regulator for higher education sector, including the teacher educations. Because we know that here in India, there is a conventional system, lots of regulating agency from the state side also, regulating agency from the center side also, and even for the one organization, maybe the more than 3 to 4 agencies for the control. So now the government, the emphasis is that is a single point regulator for higher education, including the teacher education. Then important thing is that teachers eligibility test, T-test, for all teachers across foundational, preparatory, middle, and secondary stage in both public and private schools. This system is also running for the CBSE schools. Because what happens if teacher is not good trained, is if the teachers are not capable for enhancing the capacity of the students, for enhancing the knowledge of the students, then NEP can be failed. So the main emphasis of NEP is that how we can increase the effectiveness of the teachers. So this is the test. By only after the passing of this test, the teachers can be eligible for giving the education. National Centers for Performance Assessment. Setting up of National Centers for Performance Assessment, Review and Analysis of Knowledge for Holistic Development, PARAK. What are the objectives of PARAK? First of all, that is setting norms, standards and guidelines for assessment and evaluation. Because we need to, that is the one agency for who can be set the norms, standards and guidelines for all assessment and evaluations, guiding the state achievement surveys, conducting the national achievement surveys and monitoring achievement of learning outcomes in the country. Because now our education system is going in the way that one nation, one education system. So we need learning outcomes. How we can evaluate the performance of NEP? Because that is our experience. That by only the policy they cannot be get the good results. So for the correction of this, we are just preparing this PARAK, and main objective of this PARAK is that monitoring the achievement of learning outcomes in the country, and according to the result of the survey, we can change in the system according to the requirement. Here, that is the important thing is that is the online and digital education. Maybe the before 2 years, we don't know, we are not very aware about the online and digital education. We cannot be say about even the school teachers, even in the universities also, even in the big organizations also, we don't know about the online and the digital system by which we can give the education. Due to the corona, now the things are going better way, that just we are using the digital mediums for spreading the education. So in the NEP, now that is the one pillar of this NEP. The inclusion and access, enhance educational access to disadvantaged groups, including Divyanga students. Because that is the most powerful tool in the education system, that is the online and digital education. By these systems, we can penetrate the most rural areas of the India, where our education system, where our skill development system are very weak. By this online system, we can boost up the system. And digital platforms and ongoing ICT-based education initiatives to be optimized and expanded. As we know that now also our most of the prestigious institutions like IITs, NITs, IIMs also preparing the lecture series on the particular subjects. And now you can see that on each and every subjects of the teaching materials already available on the SWAYAM. In the SWAYAM, you can assess the particular teaching material for the maybe the technical subject, maybe the non-technical subjects. So this is also going on the way. Blended learning, emphasis on the effective models of the blended learning, because we know that somewhere we need to very practical knowledge. Okay, suppose from our mechanical engineering, if the students not learn the operation of the lathe machine, operation of the milling machine, operation of the CNC machine, by the digital learning, by the online education, we cannot be enhance the skill development of the student. Somewhere we need to blended learning also. So content creation, digital repository and dissemination, technology integrations in teaching, learning and assessment. So as we know that in the SWAYAM already, the digital creations of all the subjects is also going on. And by the government institutions, all this teaching learning material is also converting into the local languages also. So now you can see that maybe after some times, what will be the standard of the language? The students will coming into our education system, and he not understand the English, then he can take any teaching material in any language from the government side without any fees. So this will be gradually enhance the capacity of the students, because we don't need to the student performance in the language. We need to performance of language into the particular trade, particular into the skill development. So that is the policy of NEP, that our major focus on the skill development. We are not just remembering technique, we are following it. Another thing is that focus on socio-economical disadvantages groups, as it is. That is the problem from India for the long time, because our policies, our conventional systems is not approaching on this social economic disadvantages groups. So we know that these are the groups are like gender identities, particular female and transgender individuals, socio-cultural identities such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBC and minorities, because these problems in the rural areas, because we know that 70% India are the rural area, and on that situation, even in the after the corona 2 years, maybe in the some part of India, the online education is not possible, not only from the internet or the tablet, not availability of the desktop, somewhere maybe the electricity is not available. So you can understand that what is the level of India. Maybe in the metro cities, just we are working on the 5G or 6G, and in the rural area, there is no electricity, no internet, no mobile tower. So in India, every part has a very, very different type of peoples. So our NEP is focused on that. Just we want to create the facility from the SC, ST, OBC and minorities. Geographical identities such as students from village, small towns and aspiration districts. We know that now just we are finding the talents not from the metro cities, more talent is coming from the non-metro cities. Even you can see in the cricket also, and even you can see in the admission into the IITs, IIMs, NITs, most of the students, most of the toppers are coming not only from the metro cities, the students are coming from the non-metro cities and from the rural areas. So you can understand that what are the talent in our village. And the NEP is the power that we can just take the talent from the rural area, and this talent can be used for the development of our country. These abilities, including learning disabilities. We know that now just we are using the word Divya. So because we know that in the practical situation, more education needed to the disabled person, because for the employment they need to special skill by which they can earn the money for life. Socio-economic such as migrant communities, low income households, children in vulnerable situations, victim of, so lots of things are there, lots of the groups are there, need to do special strategies will be formed for focused attention for reducing each of the category wise gaps in school education. So you can understand that now NEP is working in a very broad way. Because we are not focusing only on the development of the education system, just we are focusing on the monitoring system also, and that is our approach. That is approach our government, that each and every person of the India which is related to the education systems, they can be get the benefited. So that is the ultimate aim of the NEP. This is the timelines of implementation, because we know that now just we are in 2020 and 21, and that is not possible that in the every maybe after the 1 year or 2 years we can get the whole objectives of the NEP. So here the long things are there. In 2021, that is the first thing, that the formulation national curriculum framework for the school education NCFSC, and the national curriculum framework for the teacher education. Here you can see that the two things are working simultaneously. We are formulating the national curriculum framework for the school education also, and we are working for the teachers education also. In 2023, ACMOM guidelines set of national professional standards for the teachers, and teachers prepared for a transformation in the assessment systems. Because in NEP, we can get only the results when our teachers will be trained. Without the training of the teachers, without the skill enhancement of the teachers, we cannot be get the all objectives of the NEP. So that is our objective 2020-23. This will be go, and in 2025-26, attaining universal foundation literacy and numeracy in all primary schools for all learners by grade 3. It is not very easy task. We are working after the independence that each and every student of India can be get the admission into the school, but we know that up to till that is not possible. So in NEP, that is the target is that 2025-26 we can get this objective. Then set a state UT governments to optimize resources through mechanism to group or rationalize schools, such as school complexes. At least 50% of learners exposed to vocational education in the school and higher education system. Because when we will not emphasize the skill development from the school, then that is not possible. In the university, only 3 and 4 years we can get full skilled persons into the university. So that is not only the objective of the university, that is objective of the schools. Whenever we will get the trained students from the school, then we can easily convert it into the fully skilled person. This may be go up to the 2029 and 2030. That is the universal provisioning of quality early childhood development care. Teachers' education will be gradually be moved into the multidisciplinary college and universities with minimum degree qualification 4 years PhD. Only educationally sound, multidisciplinary and integrated teachers' education programs shall be in force. And all TEIs will be converted into the multidisciplinary institutes, because we know that this time is not for the specific disciplinary system. Everything we know that in the machines is now the combination of mechanical, electrical, electronics, robotics, aeronauticals. So everything is not a single. So we know that whenever the things will be go into the industry 4.0, whenever the smart manufacturing will be start, then we don't need to do only one discipline. We need to person from the multidisciplinary. And this multidisciplinary person is not possible without the multidisciplinary teachers. So that is the focus in 2029-23, that every teacher should be the educationally sound, integrated teachers education programs will be enhance the capacity of the students. And in 2040, the policy is full operational. Following this comprehensive review will be the undertaken. So you know that there is a 20 years big journey, and that is a very great pleasure for us that we are the part of this journey. Now in 2020-21, we are all teachers. After the Corona pandemic, we are in the stage, in the early stage, and maybe in 2014, everything will be changed. Not only in the education system, that will be changed into job opportunity also, skill development also, and various new areas will be coming to the education. And this after the 20 years long journey, although we can get the objective of this NEP. So we know that what are the importance, what are the largest objectives of this NEP. If we will get this, then our country will be totally changed. So now just I am coming from the summary. As we see in all the positive sides of NEP, just we are skill development programs, we are trying to 100% this gross enrollment ratio, and we need to, all students have to even just join some vocational courses. So these are all the good parts of the NEP. But here also loopholes in this NEP will not be fixed and resolved by this education policy. First thing is there's commercializations. NEP still doesn't tackle the commercialization of the education. Maybe in the future, but commercialization is the biggest drawback of the education system in the India. We know that we are not just that is the one phase, that is the rural areas. Maybe the parents are rich, maybe the financially stable. Okay, they can give the good coaching institutes, they can give the good institute to the students. But what will happen whenever most of the schools, most of the organizations will not work for each and every person, not on the financial basis, we cannot be get the full benefit of the NEP. So that is a drawback, because in NEP there is no question or no system for the commercializations. Hidden fees, capitations, cash payments that are paid in the so-called free institutions and universities that are running non-funded institutions. Because now the system also, we can see on the UG side, lots of fake institutions and universities also there. So they are taking more fees and we are giving the fake documents also, fake degrees also. So here in also NEP, that is nothing. I mean, they are giving in the another ways direction, but not specifically on that. And that is yet unclear that education will be get your job or not. Like still after having degrees, unemployment exists. We know that now also in India, the Prime Minister Modi started skill development programs. in each and every state of the country, skill development centers are running. Most of our young persons, most of the students are taking the skill training into the program, vocational training into the program, but they are not getting the job. Okay, so that is the ground situation, because maybe this program is running from 5 years about the skill development programs, but yet our employment rate is not going down. So maybe in our education policy, we are not very sure about that. Whenever we will implemented all these things, our employment rate surely will be go down. So that is another, we cannot be say that that is a loophole, but because what is the ultimate motto of our national education policy is that our students are capable for getting the good job. Maybe they can make the good entrepreneur, they can do a job, but whenever the money will be come from the market, and if they are not capable to getting the money, then what will happen? Ultimately, aim of this NEP may be the way. So that is also, maybe after some reviews, these things will be can be taken into the policy. Another thing is that the policy language mentions the focus on the gifted students to increase admission into the IITs, NITs via promoting Olympiads and other competitive testings. Here we know that the Kishore Prosahan Yojana also is running. So now the government is focused on that gifted students, more talented students, not from the metro cities, from the non-metro, from the rural areas, who are the more talented person, they can take directly admission into the IITs, NITs, and given the preference in that through the Olympiads. We know that the Olympiad exam for testing the knowledge. But that is another part. Poorer families cannot be afford preparation and exam fees for the Olympiads. Okay, so these policies, because that is the responsibility of government to finding the talent. But if we will depend on the Olympiads or some competitive exams for finding the talents, so maybe these things will be not good for the students. For basically, that is for the poorer families, for the richer families. Confusion around how to lift the professional qualifications of the existing teacher to the level of future 4-year trained teachers. These questions is still for our also, because now just we taken our education into the conventional system, and now we are implementer of the 4-year courses. So first of all, the first thing is that what are the government doing for upliftment of the existing teachers who are already just used to from the last 20-25 years, and within the 2 or 3 years, how can they will change according to the new system? So we need to do good training for the teachers. The policy is also some allusions to performance-based pays incentive to teachers, mentioning robust benchmarks, including peer reviews. So here also things are going on. That is the incentive-based systems, performance-based systems. But we know that in India, in the government system, we are not taking up the private systems. These systems will be not effectively work. So the teacher, because teachers are the backbone of the NEP. If teachers will be not trained, if teachers will be not interested, if teachers will be not motivated, then we cannot not achieve the target of the NEP. So first of all, government need to focus on the teachers training. Teacher training means not the teaching skills, because the teachers who are just taught subject from 10 to 20 years, they already matured about the teaching skills. But exactly what are the requirement of the present systems? Because in the schools, now we are shifting from our remember based system or learning based system to the skill development center. So first of all, we need to understand the basic requirement of the teachers for upliftment of the professional qualification. So that is the drawback of the this NEP, and maybe after the 1 or 2 review, maybe these things will be incorporated into the education policy. So thank you very much. That is the overall insights about the national education policy. No doubt that is the changing and that is the benchmark for our existing systems, and that is our great pleasure for us that we are into the teaching system, and we are the follower of these systems. Maybe after 20 years, NEP will be get the full objective of the policy, and in India, the most of the students, most of the centers will be skill development centers, and maybe our development will be like the Japan and Korea, where the skill is the important, not the conventional degree. So just due to the government, just we are going from the one point to the another points, and we are in the way and we will give our most our outcomes into the systems. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so very much, sir, for giving insight about the NEP and the impact of NEP on the higher education system. Now, Preeti Yadav, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. This is one request to all the participants. The feedback link is provided into the chat box. Please fill the feedback form. Then only you will get the certificates. And I request all the participants, if you have any questions and queries, then you can ask to sir.
You may raise your hand if anybody would like to have any. Yes, Mosmi ma'am. Ma'am, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
If anyone have any query or question, then they can ask.
Hello.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I'd like to ask one thing about this NEP, which mentioned about the Olympiads. Ma'am, can I ask Ravin sir?
Yes, yes, yes. He's listening, ma'am. You continue.
Okay. Ravin sir, you mentioned in the second last slide that the Olympiads are supposed to be included in the IITs and all those higher institutions, technical institutions. I couldn't find anything related to what would be the criteria for the inclusion of Olympiads, because if you see the syllabus and the question paper of Olympiads, they are of exactly national and international level. Like if we go for even English Olympiads, they are of the level of TOEFL and IELTS, and similarly of IGKO or IMO or anything. So they is there any point in NEP which is mentioning what weightage will be given to these Olympiads for higher education?
Thank you very much, madam. Now, what is happening actually, government wants to just gifted, that is a new term, that is gifted students. Gifted students means the most talented students in India. So what happens now, government is just, that is in, in the policy that is done, the gifted, how we can search the gifted students from our country. So now maybe the government is focusing on the Olympiads basically. So the Olympiads are the basic systems by which we can get the, the Kishore Protsahan Yojana also. So in that system, the Olympiads is the medium by which we can just point out the talented students. So maybe after some times the Olympiad may be the benchmark of the gifted students, and they can good advantages in maybe the form of the scholarship or maybe in the any government promotional schemes for the students. Am I clear?
Okay.
Hello. I'm not.
Yes.
I was not able to unmute myself, sir. No, sir. My question was different, rather different. I wanted to know whether there is any weightage which is given, which might be given, or which is mentioned in the NEP about the percentage
no, that is not given this percentage, something like that. But okay, that may be this Olympiad may be basis for a searching of the talented students. Not any criteria for that in NEP. You are right.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Is there any another question by the participants who want to ask from the speaker? Okay, I think we have enough questions now, and let us move to the vote of thanks. And very good afternoon to one and all present here. It was an in-needed wonderful session, and I am Preeti Yadav, member of MIIC, present here to deliver the vote of thanks. I, on behalf of Medicaps University and Medicaps Innovative and Incubation Center offer heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ravindra Pathak for enlightening us with valuable information on national education policy and its importance in today's educational scenario. He wonderfully explained the policies, changes, and targets of National Education Policy 2020. He also discussed the importance of multiple languages in the educational system. He precisely explained the difference between the new and existing academic structure for Anganwadi, preschool, and 12 years of school. The main attractions of this session were National Center for Performance Assessment, PARAK, online and digital education system, focus on socio-economically disadvantaged groups, timeline for implementation of national education policy. On behalf of Medicap's Innovation and Incubation Center, I convey my sincere thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. D.K. Patnaik for accepting our invitation to grace this occasion. Your motivational words have motivated us to organize such events regularly. Thanks, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. D.K. Panda for his motivation and support to organize this event. Thanks to Dr. Ankur Saxena, the Registrar, for the support and providing the facilities for a smooth conduction of this webinar. Thanks to Dr. Sarita Kansal, Professor in charge MIIC, Professor Ram Janam, Sir, Head ECell and member of MIIC for all their support to organize this webinar. My sincere thanks to Mr. Surikant Soni and Mr. Gajendra Singh for their regular backend support. And at the last but not the least, the special thanks to all the participants, faculty members, and the students who actually made this webinar interactive and very wonderful. So at last, this was one wonderful session conducted by Sir. Thank you so much, Sir. Thank you so much.
Preeti ma'am, kindly put the feedback link once again in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you very much, everyone. We will wait for a minute or two so that you can fill the feedback form, and then we will end the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for sparing your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and Medicap Seniority for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All the participants, please fill the feedback form. Then only the certificates will be provided to you. And the feedback form link is already available in the chat box. Please find it.
Your feedback matters a lot to improve our upcoming events. All are requested to copy the link of the feedback, and we are about to end this meeting. So shall I end the meeting now?
Yes, ma'am. I think you
Yes.
have copied. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.